Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Snortopia, the sister country, if you will, to Galtopia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News 2nd Edition. I'm your host, GTG, and let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been hinting at a series that I've been wanting to start for a very long time. I took off most of October for the most part. I wanted to get more of the viewer request videos out. I have a cornucopia of stuff coming out for you, but sadly some stuff was lost. Some corruption of files, things like that. I have some very intelligent people working behind the scenes to see if we can try to get that fixed up. If we can, great. If not, I will re-record it. So that's a thing. It is what it is. But here at Snortopia, you know what I'm saying, because this is me kind of coming out with it and christening it, I'd like to try to start off strong. So we're going to start off with a brand new series that I've been hinting at for a little while. I know I just kind of repeated that, but just run with me on it. And the series is going to be, voila, it's going to be called Patreon Pocket Check. So let me give you guys a little bit of background on this and let's get started. We are going to go over the span of this series, which I don't know how long it's going to be. Initially, it was only going to be like 10 or 12 episodes. It might be longer now because I found some other stuff too, some other goodies about, we're going to go over the lifespan, for the most part, about Patreon. And to do so, we're going to start at year one. And we're going to start at Snort Zero, Ground Zero, if you will. And how to kind of enter into a series like this is kind of iffy, because I want to try to convey as much information to you as possible, given that a lot of this happened back in like 2015 is when he started this, which comes about after he left Twitch, and then the cornucopia of bullshit that happened on top of that. But I found us a guide. I have found us I feel, one of the perfect individuals of many that can kind of help us through this, because this is a learning experience. This is a lesson. The point of all of this is to show you guys that Phil's thirst and lust for money is nothing new, and a lot of the little zany tactics that he's pulling is also nothing new. It's done on a different platform, sure. It's going through a different medium, but none of it's really new. It's just it's been repurposed, if you will, rehashed. So to do that, we are going to be here with one of our favorites. It's only going to be one video per broadcast until we go through year one somewhat, and then we're going to have some recap episodes, and then we'll go along after that, depending on. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you guys to, one more thing. Sorry. No, let me finish this first. I'm going to take you guys to April 17th of 2015. We are here with Almighty Streams and Archives. This is Almighty Tevin's second channel. DSP tries it. Got $1,200 for $600 worth of equipment. Now give me $2,000 for a $1,000 camera. Analyze this. Yet again, it's from April 17th of 2015. Now, before we enter into this, if for any of you who may have not seen it or just are kind of now coming into the channel, I have gone over the original video when Phil introduced him going to Patreon and how he wanted people to participate. Now, let's get into a little bit of the lore, at least as best I can give it to you. The reason why Patreon exists, at least for Darkside Phil, is him leaving Twitch the first time. When he was asked to bring down his bitrate, an administrator came in or an admin came in and was nice enough to be like, hey, could you please lower your bitrate? Phil basically was like, well, other people get to do it, why can't I do it? The guy was like, just please lower it. Phil went ahead and got his panties in a bunch and left. And when he came back to YouTube, he started Patreon. Now, he started this with a purpose, which leads into one of the biggest debacles of Phil's career. One of them is the whole Project 7 revamp scam. Essentially what that was is his series, Project 7, he wanted to bring it back for a third time. And he wanted to do it his own way and so on and so forth. No John, no Howard, no OJ, no Respect to Pac, none of those guys. It's going to be all him again. But he hinted that people could be part of it. This third time, essentially. And he used Patreon as the lure to bring people in. But to make a better Project 7, he needs things. He wants better equipment for the office. He wants a better camera with a bigger lens. He wanted all these extra things, and he used essentially Patreon as the bait. Now, like I said, I talked about that in the original video. that is on the channel. It was one of like the first videos I did. Don't worry, you don't have to go that far back. It's in the last like 15, 20 videos. If I remember to, I'll try to link it in the description, or I will put it in one of the end cards. We're at what, the 5, almost 6 minute mark. I'll try to put it one of the end cards above the screen. If not, I'll try to put it in as one of the videos at the end of the video in my video tab. So there'll probably be 3 over there instead of 2. With that being said, that was the lore, and that's how he brought people in. Essentially, Project 7 was never going to happen. It was a pipe dream. He did it to bring people in and to make money off of John and Howard, which in theory is what he's doing now. John and Howard actually pointed that out in the DSP response video. Don't worry, I'm going to re-upload that for Thanksgiving. I'm making it a tradition, if you will, where John, Howard, or both in their response even said that Phil's still finding ways to monetize them. They just didn't know how true that was. And that was also in 2015, if I remember, when that happened. So this all kind of falls into the same year. If you look at the retrospective streams that are going on, yet again, you always find some John and Howard videos thrown up in there, because yet again, it gives him a chance to monetize videos that he currently can't monetize, or to entice people to go back and watch those videos on their own. That's all the retrospective stream is. It's a double tap / triple tap, if you will, of off of his old videos that people can watch, and definitely on videos that people can't watch. So anyway, we're gonna go through. I think Tevin has like 10 videos. I pretty much have it all in order, right? So we're going to go over a couple of those, and we're going to go over all of them, actually. And you guys are going to get Tevin's feedback. We're going to find out a lot of the old lore that's kind of woven in between this. The link to Tevin's original video will be down in the description if you want to listen to it without my annoying voice. And I recommend you do so. Pause this video, go and watch Tevin's video and whatnot, then come back, and then you have we can both kind of converse a little bit better on the subject. And when I say us, I mean, just everybody who's decides to go into the comment section. I think it's some really fascinating stuff. And Patreon was always a cash grab. When I stepped into the game, like I guess you could say like my rookie year, he was already doing a bunch of shenanigans with the Patreon a little bit while he was making the transition to Twitch, because I think I popped in here around 2017, late 2017 if I remember correctly. So Patreon was still a thing. Now it's shit in the wind. He doesn't even acknowledge those people, despite the fact that he's making between $400 and $500 a month off those same individuals and their generosity. So the point of really all of this, is the way he treats Patreon is the way he treats sub goals and tip goals kinda now. And you're just going to see it formatted in the same way, but a lot of it's going to look very, very familiar to you. So sit back, relax. Hopefully you guys have a drink from the concession stand over there. Here at Snort Bucks, we try to bring you our best. I need to start promoting that a little bit more over here. Also, there's going to be some people I'd like for you guys to look out for. James the Lesser Express Lane, Agent Proper of the DIA, SuperSlothPants. Who else? I made a list. Check out Paul, Paul W, who also does the Talking Pixels, which is going over retro games. Great series. Please check it out. And he also has his Dark Side Failure series, which is amazing. It's amazing. Amazing parody series going over Phil and his bullshit. Check those out. I will leave the link to his channel in my description, as well as some of the other people that I've just named. Check out Sunspot Gallery. Sunspot Gallery recently gave me, I don't think he meant to, but like I was watching some of his videos, and one of those videos gave me a very, very good idea. Also, I responded back to you on Twitter, Sunspot, so hopefully you got it and whatnot. So shouts out to Sunspot Gallery. Also shouts out to Killer Chronic 420, who does some pretty cool hot sauce / tasting videos. You should definitely check that out. And also for Twitter, I would like you guys to check out the Galtopian Museum of Unnatural Art. If you're on there, if you ever see a screen cap of Phil looking rather unnatural, not to say that he looks natural really, send it to the gallery. Go ahead and tweet it at the Galtopia Museum of Unnatural Art, and who knows what will happen to it. Someone will throw some caption on it. I might use it for a video, whatever the case may be. But it's just something to laugh at and whatnot. So definitely check all that out. I'm going to start doing that myself. So look out for those things. I will leave the links to some of these in the description. And it should be fun. It should be fun to be had for everybody. But enough talking at the moment. It's super early. And I'm trying to do Twitter at the same time to catch up on Phil's current nonsense. But let's go ahead and get into the video at hand. I will see you guys literally in just a second. Oh boy.
What should be a weekly series, but it won't be. This is Let's Analyze This. I might as well call it that, right? But anyway, we're analyzing more nonsense about Darkside Phil, DSP, Phil Burnell, whatever you want to call him. Mainly talking about his Patreon page. I would like to get one thing out of the way. For the very loud person that accuses me of trying to siphon subs off of DSP. If I wanted to do that, don't you think I would pick on like PewDiePie's or Markiplier's or Somewhat Upset Joe or any other popular people instead of this dude? Anyway, all that.
For some of you who haven't had a chance to check out some of Tevin's older stuff, you'll get to see a lot of it here. But I definitely implore you to go to his second channel and check some of the stuff out. It's a gold mine. And there's a lot of lore in there too. Stuff that you guys just may not know about. Some of it might just come across as offhanded, but when you think about some of the stuff Tevin brings up in our current year, 2019, the year of the golden pig, the year of gout, it'll help make sense and it'll help bring you into the conversation. More importantly, if any of you guys are frequent Tevin streams, you can ask him some of these questions, and more often than not, he'll be able to answer it and give you some more backstory, which helps everybody. So just something to think about. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with almighty streams and archives. DSP tries it. Got $1,200 for $600 of equipment. Now give me $2,000 for a $1,000 camera. Analyze this. This is from April 17th of 2015. Oh boy, this is going to be great. I've been looking forward to this. All right, here we go. Here we go.
Out of the way. This is going to be a long one. I got my Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island Club Nintendo shirt. Got me a 2-liter of Fanta. Got me some Doritos. And as I said, we're going to be talking about the Patreon of Darkside Phil. Stick with me here because I will be doing some editing with this because it's a lot of stuff I need to cover.
Indeed. Like I said, this original video, he's actually going over a little bit of it, of that original video that I was telling you guys about Phil's Patreon launch. I've already gone over that video. Like I said, it's in the it's in like at least one playlist. If not, like I said, I'll try to link it at the end of the video, and it'll be and I'm gonna try to put it in a card somewhere in this video. Hopefully before this point. Hopefully. But Phil just goes over all of his perks and things like that. The whole thing's a complete and total fucking mess. But either which way, if you guys want my thoughts on it, you can hear it. If not, you can go ahead and catch at least probably the more essential bits through Tevin. Here we go.
And I want to save as much time as possible for the people that actually decide to watch this foolishness. But we're going to start off with when he initially launched his Patreon.
Very simple. www.patreon.com/DarksidePhil. It is spelled as you see it right here. Okay? All in lowercase. I want to make that clear.
It's going to be a bunch of filler because he, of course, has to talk about this.
Trick you or make fun of me, and they've used variations of the spelling, capitals and stuff. It's just all lowercase my name. That's how you access this page. Okay?
Now, that's hilarious that as soon as he leaves Twitch and starts Patreon, that people are already imitating him on Patreon. And then people making fun of him. His sensitivity to people online is weird. Like, why would you put yourself in a situation that you can't obviously handle? That you can't obviously handle, that you can't cope with. it's online, dude. Like, everybody's gonna have something to say about everybody. What are you gonna do? Either if you can't handle it, turn the goddamn computer off. If not, shut the fuck up and keep it pushing. Especially at this time where you've already been in the game for 6 years making money. This is how you make your living. And yet he focuses, even now, more on the namesayers, if you will, than his own fans. Hence the reason why his fans keep dwindling and turning into namesayers. You would think he'd learn.
So what is this?
Can't believe people buy this and drink it.
I give a little synopsis of who I am and what the point of my whole Patreon is, why I'm doing it. All right?
I'm not even going to front. Fanta Pineapple is really, really good if you can get your hands on it. That shit's amazing.
I say right here, since 2008, I've created independent and driven gaming content on YouTube.
Can we fast forward this?
I've been partnered with Machinima since montage, or I can work on what and I actually played them. Some people said the games that I played that year could have been considered walkthroughs.
Okay.
That if I say, man, I wake up today and I don't care what game is out this week.
Okay.
Guys with perks.
By the way, this is literally a 50-minute long video of him asking for people to donate money to him. I won't complain about that. It's besides the point. Let's continue.
You don't have to be rich to be a major part of this. Someone who has $1 a month, as low as $1 a month, ability to change your donation amount at any where you're stuck in it. Okay, there's multiple forms of payment.
Holy shit!
Is for the entire.
Now, for some of you guys who are like, I've heard him say that $1 a month thing before. The reason why that is I think that was in 2017. I think sometime it was either 2016 or 2017. He had also made a plea for people to, hey, give me $1 a month. If everybody who watches my videos or sub to his channel, or it may have even been both, I can't remember which term he used. If they would just give me $1 a month, I would have nothing to worry about. So he's revamped that as well. And in truth, that would go for anybody, for the most part, who has a Patreon. If everybody gave you $1 a month, you would be cool. You know what I'm saying? Shit, if everybody gave you $2 a month, you'd be really cool. I mean, shit, Phil had, what, 70,000 subs back in that time? Yeah, if everybody gave him $1 a month, yeah, he'd be sitting real pretty, making over $1 million a year. So, yeah. But he still couldn't get people to rally. I mean, he ended up getting his, I think his original goal was either between 1,250 or 5,000. But then he's had stretch goals and goal milestones. You're going to hear a lot about that as the series goes on. So, I mean, he made really good money for providing very little, if not nothing. You know what I mean? But like I said, you'll hear more about it as this goes on.
Your name will be featured in a special thank you on that podcast. Your name will be featured if I do an Ask the King in the month of March. As a
okay, let me just go over this right quick. You pledge $1, your name gets posted in some of his videos. You pledge $5, you get special treatment in the forums. You pledge $10, and I can't read this because I have bad eyes. You get all the other perks, and you get a shout out, verbal shout out. Ooh, $10 for a verbal shout out. You pledge $20, you get priority access to Ask the King, which means if you send him a question, it's a higher chance he'll answer it, or he'll answer it no matter what. Some kind of nonsense. Okay. That's not the point of this video. Let's continue.
For as long as you made a $5.
He's charging for this stuff, by the way. $30 to get you a T-shirt and all the other stuff mentioned.
For $10 or more a month. I don't want to interrupt. Some really cool stuff.
Oh, by the way, the shout-out stuff, that stuff he said he wouldn't do on Twitch because he didn't want to beg for donations. But then he's on Patreon begging for donations. But as he's on Patreon begging for donations, he still shits on people like Somewhat Upset Joe for being on Twitch begging for donations. Because it's more classy to beg for donations on Patreon than it is to beg for donations on Twitch, apparently.
That a lot of people...
But not even just that. He begs for it on YouTube as well. Which is nuts, because it's more and more of the hypocrisy. You're going to shit on Angry Joe because, one, he's on Twitch, and Phil's not on Twitch anymore. Even though Phil purposely removed himself from that situation. Let's not mistake in anything, ladies and gentlemen. He was not kicked off of Twitch that first time. He chose to leave. He chose to deactivate his account and leave. Now, You're shitting on Joe because he asks for donations on Twitch. When didn't Phil used to ask for subs, and he got paid off subs? So it was no different, to be honest with you. And Phil used Twitch as a platform to pump YouTube, so he could get people to give him more views. So in turn, and click ads, so he could go, so he could get more money. So he was begging too. He was just doing it in a different way, if you want to call it begging. And thirdly, look at him now. Look at Phil right now. That's all he does. And his caveat for that is, oh, I'm forced to do it. Other people, they could have made money off. All those other people who were doing this, when I was talking shit about them, they didn't have to. They could have gone ahead and gone on YouTube and gotten the ad revenue. Yeah, and you could have stayed your ass on Twitch instead of running away like some scorned little bitch. And who knows how big his channel would have been based off of longevity if he had stayed on Twitch. You know, I don't know. I think Phil was gone for like 2.5 years, whatever it was. That was at least 2 years. So whose fault is that? If he had stuck with Twitch instead of running away over some bitrate bullshit, he'd have been fine. He'd have been fine. Well, he might have been, I don't know if he'd be fine, but he'd definitely be in a better situation than he's in now, to be honest. And a lot of the reason why Twitch is the way it is, to be honest, goes back to the fall of Brightside Viking. A lot of it is the way it is because of that situation. Because almost everybody else who tried to step into that power vacuum fucked it up in some way, shape, or form. It is what it, at least that's my theory. I might, I might go over that in a little bit more detail later on down the line. But, yet again, that's his own fault. He should have never left. He should have never left Twitch. So now he's accused of the very same thing he accuses other people of doing now. And he wants to stand behind the idea that, oh, I have no choice. You guys can't criticize me. And now all of a sudden, because Phil does it, it is a real job and it deserves legitimacy and it deserves this, that, and the third. Going back on his own word. And now he has the nerve to say, oh, I was ignorant. I didn't know enough at the time. I was just going my own way. Well, then people should be able to go on and make that alleged, air quotes, same mistake you did. You wanted to talk off the cuff. You wanted to speak out your own ass about a situation that you really didn't understand. Well, now people can do that too. Especially since they have more information. They have more knowledge than you do. But then you get banned. That lean in manual.
Quite honestly, I'm not asked for what kind of... You're going to have questions. This because I want to ask... I'm sorry, 12.
He kind of can ramble sometimes. Don't worry about it.
It's basically the Project 7 t-shirts.
All right. You pledged $75, by the way. As a matter of fact, let me see. Let me double check this. I'm gonna have to edit this so fucking much. If you pledge $50, you get a video from him. So he would do a video sitting on his sofa, answering your specific questions, and it would be a private, unlisted video that only you can see. I'm surprised no one has done that and re-uploaded it to YouTube. But I guess a hater isn't gonna spend $50 because
you're right. A hater wasn't gonna spend $50, but praise be, a couple of years later, eventually, the dumps happened. I think the first one was a video sent to Bill Purnell, which was one of these $50 Patreon videos, where talking about Review Tech USA, which Rich never addressed. Which I find to be, I mean, I guess it's whatever. If I was Rich, I had said something, but that's just me. But Rich never. I guess it's like when you make really fucked up jokes with just your friends, right? And you never expect that shit to hit the light of day of the internet or anything else. You just, I guess you don't care. I think Rich looks at it that same way. Okay, well, that was something that he said in private with somebody else. I don't care, I'm not going to address it. Even though Phil said, and has said multiple times around this time period, that if you get the $50 private video, you can re-upload it, you can do whatever you want with it. You have that option. And then you have Spamgate. When Spamgate happened, all of those videos, for the most part, ended up getting being re-uploaded, and a bunch of detractors just grabbed that shit. I think I have a couple on this channel. If not, I do have them. They're probably just not public yet. But LSB and Bill Purnell have a playlist for both of those. So if you guys ever want to check that out. So that's a thing. But one thing that I don't think Tevin has pointed out yet, so I'll do it now. He might point it out later, but I'll point it out right now, is for the $30 perk, you get a free shirt. For the $50 perk, you get a video, and for the $75, you get the chance to get into Project 7. Here's the messed up part. If you, let's say you don't do the $30 perk. Let's say you do the $50 perk. You don't get the shirt. And let's say you decided to go all the way and do the $75 perk and don't do the 50 or the 30. You still don't get a shirt. Ain't that kind of crazy? If you're giving $30 for this perk, you should be able to get a shirt, yeah? If you do the 50, you should still get a shirt. You should be able to, I mean, you can choose a different shirt if you want, but you should be able to choose the perk, choose a shirt. And for the 75, same concept. You should still be able to choose a shirt. Because if you already have a tier that lets you get a shirt for $30, if you go above that tier, you should still get that shirt along with whatever goal that that is also established, while supplies last, and put the notification in that while certain size shirts are available or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just me though, I guess. That's just the way I'm thinking about it. But maybe I'm off base.
I would ask him so much stuff he didn't want to answer.
We didn't know that.
Anyway, let's keep going. If you pledge $75, you get a cameo in Project 7 or a future thing he's gonna do that may not be Project 7, which is really interesting if you take into consideration what he's recently done with his Patreon. This is when he originally launched his Patreon in February. It's April now, and just remember this $75 perk. Just remember that some people actually paid $75 to be in Project 7, which is a thing he's going to do. I don't feel like explaining what it's supposed to be. Or you'll be in another thing that would be similar to Project 7, or at least recorded and made the same way. But that's besides the point.
$20 shipping because I live in the UK. Or
hey, complain about shipping.
Okay.
All right.
To make you a personal video. And, you know,
all right.
Like, this is one of
I'm going to hate editing this.
Part or get you in some. I don't think anyone's going to do to this thing to these people because they paid money. And
oh my God.
Once I've hit a certain level.
Oh, by the way, he often talks about not putting stuff behind the paywall, when initially he wanted to put stuff behind the paywall. Basically, if you were to be a certain level of Patreon or patron or whatever the fuck it is, he would give you priority access to a Let's Play. So you would get priority access to seeing him play a video game. And the Sons of Kojima pretty much said, we're going to pledge $1 and upload all of this shit as soon as you send it to us. Well, re-upload it and fuck you over. So he took that away. And now he says he don't put stuff behind the paywall, but he kind of does, because if you don't donate enough, he won't do stuff. So that means it's behind the paywall.
Exactly. Which is one of the reasons why people bring up, and you should continue to bring up, the situation with Jasper. Jasper was a paywall. It was a paywall scam, but it was a paywall. The same thing with tip goals and sub goals and whatever. Those are all paywalls. Each and every one of them are paywalls. You're paying him a certain amount of money to do something. Nothing changes. And when you look at the Halloween horror movie marathon thing, which is a complete and total fuck up, but we'll talk about that on the Snort Report later on. I mean, at the end of the day, it was a complete and total flop. He's continued the tradition of it's Tevin's fault, which is pathetic as well as hilarious, but certainly pathetic. And he at the end of the day, the only thing that really mattered was, what was that? Luigi's Mansion 3? And even then he got bodied in that game. And in truth, that was the only game he really wanted to play. He didn't even want to play the previous 4 games. He should have just had a marathon just going over Luigi's Mansion. But he didn't, because he's an idiot. And he needed a way to bring people in, to get people to give him the money to do the goal, which was the Halloween horror video game marathon, which is something he does every year anyway. The same thing that you could kind of say he's doing with Axe the King for Thanksgiving, which he does every year, and then what he's going to do for the video game marathon in December, which is what he does every year. You're literally paying him for every little thing. Everything he usually does anyway is behind a paywall. So, there you go. Sorry about that.
Not a standard paywall. It's behind the donation wall.
Of financing
Anyway.
per month. Okay.
Okay, this is the good part.
We're gonna do special events.
All right.
So the very first special event, and see right here, it says right now I have 35 active patrons.
Let me turn this volume down.
$345 per month pledge. And you know what? Before we even move to the goals, let me explain this. This is
Oh,
what
boy.
you pledged to do.
I'm recording this at like
Actually
3
what's
o'clock in
going
the
to
morning
happen.
because I have no
Patreon,
life, by
what
the way.
happens, people can pledge, but until you're physically charged, all right, it obviously
right.
doesn't count. And that's
I did
why
not
told
want
you
to
guys, it
exit out to my
happens
freaking
in the
desktop,
month.
but
You're
I'm a
expecting to get,
professional, so I'm going to keep that
set up
in.
That section of the forums where I get my own special, you know, title or nickname or whatever. When's Phil going to do this stuff?
Why would you pay $5 to get special
special
recognition in a forum that no one goes to?
Charge and go through and
Oh, even better, why would you pay $5 to get special recognition in a forum no one goes to? And if you say anything moderately negative about him, you get banned or you get like warning points. Why would you want to be on this very strict, very limited forum? This is way off the point, but the King of Hate forums is honestly one of the most strict forums I've ever seen on the internet. And that's accomplishing a lot.
clear before I know for a fact that they went.
But yeah, pay $5 to get special recognition on that
Once
forum.
this is charged and clear,
See what that is, ladies and gentlemen? That the King of Hate forums was the hug box before Twitch became the primary hug box. No one gives a shit about that site. I mean, I guess early on in Phil's lore, in Phil's history, I should say, it meant something, but it died out fast. There was a lot of supporters who either allegedly got doxxed, or, and this is before blood for the blood god, or who literally got publicly executed on those fucking forums, man. Like, it wasn't shit then, it ain't shit now. The only people that hang around that place now are those who are in positions of power, or people who, for the most part, when it comes to DSP lore, has nowhere else to go. You know what I mean? But I think you find more and more of them inside of Discords now than anything. Not because they can reinvent themselves, but it's, I don't know. There's like a weird type of, I wouldn't call it a symbiotic relationship between former fans, current fans, and detractors, critics, haters, and trolls. I wouldn't say it's a symbiotic type relationship, but like most of these people, when they're not in the DSP element, they're not, or it's certainly environment to some degree, they're not that bad to talk to. Their reasoning on why they supported Phil so long is very vague or just doesn't make any sense altogether. But they're not the worst type of people. You know what I'm saying? They're really not. They're people who've been conditioned by Phil year in, year out to be shitheads. But that's neither here nor there. If any of you guys are a part of any of these Discords, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Sometimes on Twitter. Some of them are kind of stable on Twitter at times.
then we'll know when we hit these milestone goals.
All right.
Now let's talk about the goals, because these are the ones that I've come up with.
It took them 40 minutes to talk
And
about the
there's gonna be
goals.
ones in the future that are going to be brought up as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the first milestone goal, it's called DSP does Minecraft. Yes, really.
Okay. So I'm not about to go into how to do trash the maker of Minecraft and how he trashed Minecraft the game for literally 5 straight years, even though he tries to make it seem like he only did it 5 years ago and ignored it after that. But pretty much,
which is the same thing he said. He kind of tries to say and portrays to people now. Funny how that worked out.
people wanted him to play Minecraft for God knows what reason. And after 5 years of him saying, no, I won't play it, it's a piece of shit, it's a game for kids, when he wants to get donations, he says, I'm going to play it. So he gets $500 in donations and he plays a video game, then uploads it to YouTube and monetizes it. That sweet, sweet double money he always gets on other people about.
Kind of an inside joke.
Anyway.
Who followed me for so many years and heard the things that I've
Okay.
Okay. And then I hit
You know what? I'm not
$500
even going to let him talk because he's just going to ramble for
the
10
next one
minutes.
too.
I'm just going to skim over this and explain what all of this foolishness is if you don't completely understand, because some people actually don't. But the second one is DSP Plays It, Patron's Choice. $750 a month, he plays a game chosen by his patrons. I'm never gonna get these words right tonight, but he plays the game chosen by his patrons. So for $750 a month, he basically is whoring himself out there, saying, "I'll play whatever the hell you want me to pay, whatever you want me to play, as long as I get $750."
And he used to do the same thing for tip goals on Twitch. Or he would be like, "Oh, I'll have a poll of games and we'll see what game wins and yada yada yada. But we have to reach this milestone. We have to reach this amount of money. And then I'll go ahead and set the polls up so you guys can vote, and then I'll play the game." But then he used to go ahead and pull bait and switch. Sorry, it's early. My apologies. He used to pull bait and switches with those games. Some of you guys already know this. He used to pull bait and switches with the game, saying, "Oh, someone messed with the polls. It was trolls. It was detractors. So the game that you guys actually thought it won, it didn't win. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and make an executive decision, and I'm going to choose what game actually won or what should have won." Or he pulls what he did with Mario Sunshine, which is another infamous moment in Phil's history where, okay, Mario Sunshine won. You guys, I can't remember what it was. I think it was $1,250 because I think he did that off Patreon. Yeah, I think so. $1,250 was reached. Mario Sunshine won the poll, right? Because he did a poll for that one. But I'm playing multiple Mario games at that current time. At that time, ladies and gentlemen, he was playing Mario Galaxy, Mario plus Rabbids, and then that would have been the third Mario game. And he was like, "That's too many Nintendo games to be playing." And at that time, he couldn't profit off Nintendo games on YouTube, but he was making all that money on Twitch anyway. But he wanted that YouTube money. So he's like, "I'm already giving you guys 2 Mario games. I will play this later on in the year. But so it doesn't seem like I'm ripping you guys off, I'll play Spyro. I'll play Spyro the Dragon for you guys, and then I'll play Mario Sunshine later on down the line." Which he basically was going to fuck them over and not play it at all, because he pushed it to January of the following year. Okay, yeah, that was 2017 when that goal came about. In 2018, beginning of 2018, he was making it sound like he was going to put it off. A whole big thing blew up about that, and then he eventually ended up playing it early 2018. But he got mad as hell that he had to do it, and he was like, "Oh, I had to spend," I think he had to spend about 100 and he had to buy the game, he had to buy some cables so he could capture. He had to do a couple of things, more than what he was willing to do, obviously. He basically had to spend like $130 to make everything happen. $140 maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, he ended up getting $1,250. And as any of you who have followed me for any period of time, you know you got to spend money to make money. He bitched about having to spend that $140 to make all this happen, which only furthers my opinion, at least, in my theory, that he never had any plans of playing Mario Sunshine, or at least not when he did. He wanted to get them to forget. I'm sorry. And then pop it back up on them again as another goal, as another Patreon goal, or whatever the case may be, so he can get even more money. And it didn't work because the detractors wouldn't let him. The detractors, the haters, the critics, and the trolls wouldn't let him. And he was forced to play it. And he played that game begrudgingly. He hated every moment of that, because he knew, he already had it in his head that he was going to rip those people off for their money, and he couldn't do it. So, and his lies couldn't carry the day like they normally would.
And by the way, it took about a month and a half for him to actually play the game. The game ended up being Persona 4. It took him like a month to play it because it took him too long to poll people on what game they wanted him to play. Keep in mind, this is $750. Keep in mind, Minecraft was $500. Minecraft was the first goal.
Also, another thing too, I apologize, I meant to address that sooner. When it comes to Minecraft, the first time he played it, the only reason why he played it is because he got paid to. I talked about this on the main channel a little bit. But he only played Minecraft because he was paid to do so. Now you guys see him sucking off Minecraft every chance he get. But he was paid to play it the first time around. He didn't have an epiphany. He didn't have a moment of clarity and realize, you know what, I've been an asshole. Let me actually try this game and see what it's worth. He, as you heard here, was paid $500 to play that game. That's what that comes down to. That comes back to the hypocrisy that people keep shitting on him for to this very day. He didn't just go out of he didn't wake up one day and realize, you know what, I'm going to try this game and see if it's really worth the hype. Even though that was 5 years after the fact. But that's one of the beautiful things of Minecraft, is that any of you could start a Minecraft channel right now on YouTube or on Twitch, and you probably could build yourself a decent following, because there's always people looking for new personalities to play the game and to watch and to interact with. It's just a thing. And especially, I mean, granted, as of recent, the biggest resurgence comes by way of PewDiePie, but Minecraft has never really died out. There's always been people that have played it. There's people who dedicate themselves to dedicate their YouTube channels and or Twitch channels to streaming it. It's just a thing. And for 5 years, he shitted on that. He could have, who knows where DSP Gaming would have been if he had had a monthly playthrough. Let's say a monthly playthrough of Minecraft. 20 episodes a month, which, trust me, back in those days for Phil, that ain't shit. Who knows where he could have been from, where he could have been bringing in the Minecraft audience. Especially if you see some of these Minecraft YouTubers or Twitch streamers, or even Mixer to some degree. Those guys bank, or they bank pretty good. So you got to think 5 years ago, they must have banked heavy. But that's neither here nor there. Phil always is behind the times with everything. And that's why the term, him being a dinosaur, carries on to this very day. He's always late to everything. And he always shits on everything new. I guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee you, but I wouldn't be surprised. When, in another 3 or 4 years, when supposedly Fortnite is not relevant, or at least there's less and less people playing it, or when he feels comfortable with it, he'll start playing that. And guess what he's going to do? The same thing he did with Minecraft. Oh, I shitted on this game, and I played it a little bit, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the building aspect of it, but now that I'm giving it a fair shake, I actually like it. When he's forced, when his back is against the wall, is when he really against the wall, is when he'll finally play that game. He's doing it now out of a sense of pride. He thinks he's still too good to play it, just like what he did with Minecraft. He said for years that he thought he was too good to play that damn game. Now look at him. He's taken it. You want to know one of the real reasons, actually? But I'll get to. Sorry, I'm kind of scatterbrained like that sometimes. Is one, with Minecraft, he figured out a way to get even more money out of people by that whole auctioning system that he has at the end of each stream. If whoever it is who donates the most money, you can get something built by him, or you can get a plaque made, or whatever the case may be, if you're the top donator for the night. So that's one of the real reasons he loves Minecraft, because it's another way of siphoning more money out of people and trying to start these tip wars, or whatever you want to call it. I think with Fortnite, he hasn't figured out a way to profit off of it in a way like with Minecraft. He hasn't figured out a way to siphon more money out of people yet. Once he figures that out, or once he can, if he even can, for example, let's say, all right, you guys want to play Fortnite with me and whatnot, you pay, let's do this. I don't know how many people you can have in Fortnite lobby. It's been a while since I played it. Let's just say you can have, 5 people. Let's say 6 people altogether. The top 5 people on my Fortnite stream, those people will be able to get into a game with me next week, and so on and so forth. That's just one way of doing it, if you will. When he can figure out a way to double tap or triple tap, not even triple tap, almost quadruple tap off of it, he will. Hear me out with this. It's already on Twitch, and he's already going to catch donations from people just coming in and watching him play, right? So he's going to get his money off Twitch for that. Then he's going to put it on YouTube, and he's going to catch what little ad revenue he gets. Then he's going to have people that are going to pay him money to try to get into the stream the following week. And then you have the bidding war on top of that. Even though 3 and 4 theoretically could get tied into each other, they probably shouldn't. They probably should be separated. So if he could figure out a way to just quadruple his money like that, he will. He just hasn't gotten there yet. And if you look at it, when it comes to a lot of these games that Phil refuses to play, that's what it comes down to. It's how can I con people into giving me this money? Twitch isn't enough. YouTube isn't enough. I need that additional money on top of that. How do I obtain that?
Patron's choice with the second goal. $500, $750.
You're going to be able to
This was in February.
nominate. What game would you like to see?
All right, fast forward. The next choice, well, the next goal was DSP does the Indies special stream event for, I really can't see that. I believe that's $1,000. Let's make this a little bigger. Oh, yes, that is $1,000, ladies and gentlemen. So for $1,000, DSP, the dude that plays video games for a living, will play video games. Pretty cool, right? Pretty unique, right? But $1,000, he would do, I believe it was a 6 to 8 hour stream. No, 6 hour stream. He would do a 6 hour stream playing indies that he either skipped out on for years or just never played. Yet again, games people would choose him to play. Keep in mind, this is $1,000. This was his top goal when he initially launched it in February. $1,000. And he would pretty much play video games 6 hours straight. Something a lot of people do for free. But anyway, I'm not gonna go into that.
I will. So later on, if I remember correctly, because it's been a very, very long time since I watched a lot of these videos, there's going to be the Crash Bandicoot scandal, which is fucking amazing, which is exactly what Tevin told you. It's 6 hours. Well, the Crash Bandicoot stream was supposed to be 7 hours, I think. 7 or 8 hours, something like that. But it's 7 or 8 hours. Let's say it's between 6 to 8 hours of him playing Crash Bandicoot. And if the goal is met, he would agree to do Crash Bandicoot 2, I believe. Maybe even possibly 3. But anyway, 6 hours. It was supposed to be a 7 or 8 hour stream of playing Crash Bandicoot. The controversy is this: Phil's stream was live for 6 or 7 or 8 hours, whatever the time span was, but he didn't play the game for that duration, and he got a bunch of feedback for that, and it was a complete and total clusterfuck. I think that video is in the list of videos that I have queued, so eventually we're going to go over that. So you're already seeing, ladies and gentlemen, how some of these different perks or milestones or stretch goals or whatever you want to call them eventually blows up in his face in some way, shape, or form, because it's all just one big con. That's all it is. It's just a way for him to siphon more money out of a bunch of people who he thinks are idiots and he doesn't respect. So just throwing it out there.
For my second stream where I do maybe
and he rambles and rambles and rambles and rambles and rambles and rambles. All right, if you're still here with me, I would like to thank you, because it's going to take me a while to record this, I see. Anyway, this is from his, let me see, February, March. This is from his March top goal. Keep in mind, his first month, his top goal was $1,000 to play some video games. The next month, let's think about this before I continue. His top goal in his first month, he got $1,000. He will play games for 6 hours, upload it to YouTube, and then monetize it. Yet again, that sweet, sweet double money, even though he didn't get any views. But that's besides the point. But he wanted $1,000 to play some video games, indie games. And he might have spent $40 to get all of those games. Minecraft, he had to spend $20 to get that. And what was his other goal? Him recording personal videos for people. That's literally no money out of his pocket. He already got the equipment. And the patron's choice, he played Persona 4, and that's a $10 game. So he spent less than $100, and he got more than $1,000 basically to play video games and to record videos for people. And that's stuff he'd do anyway and already upload. So pretty much what, $900 free dollars? Pretty all right. But his next month, I don't know the other goals because it's actually pretty hard to look this stuff up. I would have to like find screen caps someone else took, because it's not as far as I know, it's not a true archive for Patreon to find previous monthly goals and shit. But his next month, his top goal was $1,250, I believe. And for $1,250, he would get a microphone that he doesn't need, in my opinion. He would get soundproofing that he does need, kinda, if you really want to be a stickler about that kind of stuff. Even though if you edit your videos in post, you can kind of remove echoes if you know how to do it somewhat. That's besides the point. He's never going to edit gameplay videos unless it's for a montage and he can make money off it. But I'm not going to go into that. And
I will, because that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. But the thing is, though, is that the views started to drop off. And one of the reasons for that, ladies and gentlemen, is he has this weird sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? He has this weird expectation of people's attention. He expects people who give him attention to always give him attention. So, like, for example, when you had the Red Dead Redemption, not Red Dead Redemption, what was that shit called? The, what video was it that he got, it got super popular, so to speak. It got a lot of views on the KO Gaming. Oh man, I can't think of that game now. I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't. It was like a hateful truth of, I don't know. It was a hateful truth of some game that he did. I should know this because I've gone over it a bunch of times. Basically, what the point is this: he ended up having one game that got a lot of views on King of Hate, and not King of Hate, on KO Gaming. And instead of building off of that popularity, or at least that attention that he was so craving, he chose to go on vacation with Panda for like 3 or 4 days and got shitted on for it for obvious reasons. And so when he came back, he was hoping the next couple of videos that were going to go up would be white hot popular too, in his words, and they weren't. They didn't do well because there was nothing to feed them. You know what I mean? People lost interest and they left. And that's his own fault before anything else. Here, actually, give me a second. I can pull it up. It was it Red Faction? Shit. Don't worry, I'll find it. I'll actually look for it. But he doesn't know how to He doesn't know how to capitalize off anything. He puts it out there. If it gets hot, he doesn't want to try to capitalize. Either he overextends himself and swarms you, or he doesn't give you anything and just expects you to be there when he comes back. So let me go ahead and clean that statement up. He makes a video, puts it online. Let's say it gets 500,000 views. In his fucking mind, he believes every other video that he's going to put out is going to get that 500,000 views too. And when they don't, after a while, he just abandons it. He doesn't want to try. He doesn't want to wait for that next home run, if you will, and then try to build off of that and hopefully get some grand slams. He doesn't want to do that. It has to be, everything has to follow up with what happened at this high point. If not, it's not worth his time. It's that type of mindset, it's that type of thinking is the reason why his finances are fucked up. At his highest point, or at his highest earning peak, if you will, on YouTube, he expected every month after that was going to follow it. He's admitted this a bunch of times. I don't know what type of ridiculous bullshit that is, but it's because of that expectation and him not willing to work harder to not only preserve it, but to extend it is the reason why he failed. And that's the reason why he's the e-beggar that he is now. It's the reason why he is the internet's toilet bowl. It's the reason why he's a joke. It's the reason why no one will ever take him seriously. And it's also, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why people can take advantage of him. It's the reason why people can manipulate him. When he was not even at the top of the mountain, but when he was scaling the mountain, if he had taken the proper steps, he could have been in a great position. But he chose not to because he thought he was too good to do so. Now look at him.
What else? He got like a microphone stand, some little knickknacks, but mainly in a mixer. Mainly he got $1,250 donations to get a microphone, a mixer, and soundproofing. Now, I'm not like pocket watching him or anything like that, but I believe he spent like $160 for the microphone. I might be wrong. About $200 for soundproofing, allegedly. Sometimes it's different stories he's giving about the soundproofing. And I think the mixer was like $200 or something around that area. Maybe 200, maybe 250. Double check it if you really care. But he got $1,250 and spent about half of it. He spent about $600, I believe. When I looked at his Twitter, he said he used the number 600. So I believe he spent about $600, unless he was talking about gang members. Anyway, this is
Thanks
his
to
microphone.
patrons of mine in the month of March who contributed to my Patreon account at patreon.com/darksidephil, shameless plug.
Of course,
We have raised enough funds
we all do
in
it.
order for me to dramatically improve my audio setup. This is going to include audio voiceovers for videos. It's going to include my
Nice
commentary
stuttering, by the
during
way, Bandicam.
streams and gameplay videos. Basically everything.
All right, let's end that. If you really want to tell the difference in audio,
My bad. I just thought of it, and then right when I went to his channel, I already knew what it was before I even actually saw it. It was Homefront Revolution. That at current, since I'm already on the page, came out 3 years ago. It has 1 million views. It has 1 million views. Before that, his hateful review was for Uncharted 4. Or not Hateful Truth, my bad, that's what actually kind of screwed me up. But his review of Uncharted 4, which got 33,000 views up till right now. Then he had Homefront Revolution, and that got 1 million. Then after that, he had his next video, which for the Doom 2016 reboot, which got 39,000, and then after that, it kind of fluctuates. 17,000, 32,000, 22,000, then 7,000, then 12,000. Mirror's Edge, actually his Mirror's Edge has almost 100,000, and then it kind of just fluctuates, and it just kind of keeps scaling down. Yet again, he didn't take advantage of the situation when the iron was hot. He wouldn't strike it. He, for whatever reason, he thought it was just going to stay there. Let me give you guys another example since I'm already rambling. When people ask him to play a game, and he says, "Oh, I'm not going to play the game. I already got a bunch of stuff lined up. I don't have time for it," so on and so forth. And then months and months later, if not years later at times, "Oh, well, you guys asked me to play this game. Now I'm playing it. Now there's no support. There's no viewership. Contributions are low. I don't understand. You guys asked me for years to play it. Now I'm playing it. No one wanted to watch." Because, asshole, people asked you to play it right then and there. Or at least within that month or two time span. Not when the fuck you felt like doing it. There's very few people, if any, who will sit around and wait for you like that. Time waits for nobody. But Phil don't believe that. Phil believes time will wait on him no matter what, as well as people. Which is, yet again, the reason why he's where he's at.
Quality, you can listen to stuff he did before he got the microphone and stuff he did after he got it. I've listened to his stuff through headphones reluctantly, and I've listened to his stuff through the TV, also semi-reluctantly, and it doesn't sound any different to me. Honestly, I think he needed soundproofing, but I don't think he needed a new microphone, and he damn well didn't need a freaking mixer. He's not recording R&B albums in his office. It's technically an office, kinda. I'm not going into that. But he's not recording freaking R&B albums. He's not doing gospel music in a big church house. He doesn't need a $160 microphone and a $200 mixer. He needed soundproofing. It's that simple. That's just my opinion. I will fast forward to the part where he, of course, shamelessly puts down other YouTubers and say, "Oh, the other YouTubers are using USB mics and that's not top of the line sound quality stuff." But we all know DSP. We know how he always talks about the other big YouTubers to make himself look a little better. But whatever. I'm not going into that. I get to edit more. I'm excited about it. Anyway, we're back on his Patreon account, present day. He's currently getting $1,208.07 a month. At least that's what he's gotten already this month. We're halfway through the month of April. And let's look at his milestone goals, shall we? And this is where it gets interesting. And you may notice a trend in his Patreon account. Some people will call it, I've seen some people call him a scammer or a con artist, one of those. I won't necessarily call it that, But I will say he's somewhat trying to finesse people out of giving him money. But let's go over this. First,
now, real quick, this is definitely something I want you guys to really pay attention with some of the old Tevin stuff. Is that Tevin really tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I've said this on the main channel a lot. That Tevin has tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Some of the detractors back then try to. Yeah, they definitely They definitely commented on the shit that he did. But some of them tried to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him wiggle room. Like if you think of, for example, and I still think this holds true to even now, the 3 most reasonable detractors who do commentary on Phil. It's Almighty Tevin, it's Argent, even though Argent doesn't really go over DSP stuff anymore, but he has some gems on his channel. I plan to go over some of them. He has some gems over there. And Theo, obviously. When you think of all 3 of those individuals, same concept. Each one of them go over Phil's bullshit. They look at the situation. They talk about how he messed up. They talk about the theories on why he may have messed up to some extent. And they then try to have you see it from his vantage point to some degree. Now, they vary. Each one of these 3 men vary on the levels of the viewpoint. But essentially, it kind of works into that circle. I can't do that because I don't have any faith in Phil. I know everything he does is merely for the manipulation and getting over on people. I don't have the need to give him wiggle room because he doesn't deserve it. I can see the malice in it. And I think that's why people really like those guys. And for good reason. I like those guys. I'm a fan of all of them. Because they want you to kind of see the human aspect of them, of Phil, despite the fact that it's not there. Or it is there. The human aspect of it is there, but it's the worst factions, or it's the worst factors of the human aspect. You can't expect Phil to do anything good when all he's doing is looking for angles. When all he's doing is looking for shortcuts. You know what I mean? He's so desperate for not just money, because it really, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, the money is incidental. It's a necessity. What he wants is influence. He wants people to look at him as a valid source. You know what I mean? So he can actually bully, and I use that term in a laughable sort of way. So he can try to bully his way into where the bigger guys are and get that shine, if you will. I'm not like those guys. I do what those guys do, but I'm not like those guys, because that's pretty much sums up what Phil's whole career has been. He wants to be like those people, but he doesn't want to appear to be like those people. And you can't do that. You can't have it that way. I would say it's like saying you just can't do that. It doesn't work that way. Like, look at Young Yeah and look at like Jim Sterling. Two men who do similar things, but are obviously on different spectrums. But at the same time, you can find the enjoyment and you still get the information. You get everything that you want out of both of these men, and neither one of these guys have to shit on each other to do so. Phil wants all of that, but to be able to shit on them. To basically be like, this is why I'm better. This is why he's worse. This is why you should be giving me that attention and not him. And you can't do that. And then on top of that, Phil doesn't want any blowback from those guys either. He wants to hide behind, it's all entertainment, bruh. It's just the way I do things, man. It's nothing personal. I'm going to keep shitting on you, but it's nothing personal, bruh. That's how my brand is built. And you can't have that. No one has to sit around and let that happen. And that's what, yet again, another major problem that Phil has.
Milestone goal. As you see, it's $750 a month. Now remember, his original milestone goal 2 months ago was only $500 a month. Now his first goal is $750. You see, Minecraft is nowhere here anymore. He stopped playing Minecraft. He said he would play mods. He never played mods. He completely just said, oh, fuck Minecraft. I'm done with it. I'm bored with it. He got paid to play Minecraft and never did what he said he was supposed to do. Okay, but he still wants donations. Anyway, DSP plays it, Patient's Choice, keep Persona 4 or start something new. Now, he said he will continue to play Persona 4 as a full playthrough, meaning he's going to play the game to the end and beat it. So why is he saying here, keep Persona 4, start something new? Maybe he regrets saying he wanted to keep playing it. I mean, Persona 4 is a pretty long freaking game, and doing it for YouTube is not a good choice for somebody like him, to put it simple. But if I only play it 4 times, or if that goes on hiatus, something else will replace it. Whatever. I got a feeling I got a feeling it's gonna get replaced. And at the end of the day, I mean, he's probably gonna do straw poll. If he does, you can easily like cheat straw poll, but that's besides the point. Next, here we have DSP's best of the classics. Continue.
But even if the trolls, haters, and whoever else were cheating the straw poll, right? Because I mean, I think when Tevin says that too, it goes both ways. Like Phil can manipulate it behind the scenes, and also enough people on the front end can manipulate it. But the trolls usually pick out the better games anyway, and those are usually the games that the fans want to see anyway. You know what I'm saying? But Phil would rather give you some bullshit that he's been wanting to play for years, but he never got the chance to. What prevented him from doing it? Oh, he just wanted to be compensated for it, just in case it doesn't work out on Twitter. I mean, it doesn't work out on YouTube, which is really what this whole Patreon's choice bullshit always has been. It's the same way with the whole sub goals for games now. It's games that he knows that, or he surmises, that aren't going to do well on YouTube, so he would rather have his money up front, but he's still going to put it on YouTube because he still wants that money too. And then the long-term money from him playing the game stretched out for months on end on Twitch, so he can collect on that also. Yet again, he's getting it 3 different ways. He's pocketing 3 different ways from it. And this is why people shit on Patreon. They don't have a problem with Patreon, it's how people use Patreon. If you want to support someone through Patreon, so be it. But for people like Phil, don't go through these fucking mental gymnastics to fuck over people and nickel and dime them for every little thing. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem.
Heavy Rain or something new. This is where it gets interesting. Last month, yet again, I apologize, I don't have a screen cap of last month, but if you really want to comb through his videos and comb through his Twitter, you can see that in March, he wanted $800 to do a montage. I believe it was $800 to do a montage of Heavy Rain. He said it would be Heavy Rain. It wasn't going to be, oh, it's going to be another game. I believe he said it was going to be Heavy Rain up front. So, you know, we pay him $800 and he does a montage of a game he played years ago, and he's going to get a bunch of views on it because it's a montage. People like montages. And he's going to monetize the montage. So, double money. How exciting, right? I would love to get double money, by the way. I won't lie about that. But anyway, let's continue. After beginning the series in April, I need feedback. If this goal is hit, the series will continue. Blah, 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 blah. I love how it says after beginning this series in April. It's literally April the 16th, and he hasn't put out a montage of Heavy Rain yet. He's supposed to be working on it this Sunday, but it's not even out yet. And he's already saying, I want $1,000 for next month to continue to do it or to do something else. He hasn't even put out the initial product, and he wants to get paid more to continue to put out a product already. All right. That's DSP for you. Also, something else to mention is he said he would do a montage of his Minecraft playthrough. And I remember this is also really hard to find because his Twitter is a freaking mess. But when he was playing Minecraft, somebody did a "This Is How You Don't Play" video of him playing Minecraft, which was more or less a montage. And someone tweeted him saying, should I watch the "This Is How You Don't Play" or should I wait for your montage? And they were probably trolling. But he replied to the tweet saying the montage, the "This Is How You Don't Play" is going to be gone soon, and you should watch his when he done with all 4 streams. He was basically saying, I'm going to do a montage of Minecraft. He stopped playing Minecraft a little more than a week ago. No montage exists yet. And "This Is How You Don't Play" Minecraft episode 2 got flagged. And of course, it was false flagged by Machinima. And the person that uploaded it counterclaimed it. And I think the 14-day period is going to be up today or tomorrow or something. So I don't know what the deal is with DSP and Machinima and that shit. That could be
Yet again, never let Phil never ever let Phil say that he never flagged this is how you don't play or anything along those lines. Just like how he acts like, oh, I don't care about the tracker content. I never send anybody to do anything. Remember when he ended up getting exposed by, it was like a former mod or something. It was like I think this was around the Escort saga, actually. Because I think, because the artist formerly known as Secret Life, his video came up, which was the DSP Worst Moments of 2017. A Snorpernell video came up. Someone else's video was up on that too. Were videos that Phil was like, hey, I want to know if these are slander or not so I can flag these videos. Would you go through them? Phil has been flagging videos and flagging channels for probably since the beginning. Or at least since he was in a position to do so. Certainly, I would say, with his time with Machinima. That's all he's ever really done. He can't do it now, which is the reason why he rants on Tevin and everybody else the way he does. But he's been doing that. So he can never say, oh, people do stuff to me, so I do stuff back. When he initiated a lot of the dirty tactics that some YouTubers around his size, if not longer, also do. It is what it is. Phil's not unique in this practice. Not at all. But he can't say that he's never participated in it either. It's a dirty game.
a fucking video for next week, for all we know. Anyway, also
he's literally Monday Matt before Monday Matt. Like, actually, that's a thing. We should... Well, I'm going to just put the idea out there. Someone should ask Phil about his flagging history. Because I bet you'll find stuff up there, even current, up to this very day. He's probably still flagged stuff every once in a while. Just out of frustration. Just out of frustration, he does. I'm confident that he does. But he can't get it taken down. He doesn't have the power that he once did.
We'll do a montage of him playing Bloodborne. And yet again, this is how you don't play Bloodborne, which is uploaded by a completely different person. Also got flagged and taken off of YouTube falsely twice by Machinima's the bodyguards at Machinima. And according to Machinima Twitter page, that's playing by the rules. I'm not gonna go into that, but it's complete bullshit, and Machinima is a piece of shit. And yeah, Machinima is a piece of shit. They don't promote anybody that make money for them, and apparently they file false copyright claims, which is kind of illegal, I think, and it's against the YouTube terms of services. Anyway, let's continue here. Just remember, his first goal was $500. Now I don't know where his first goal is $750. His montage goal was $800. Now I don't know where it's $1,000. It's really interesting, right? Okay, you remember the montage? Remember the montage goal that was $1,000? Now it's $1,250. Last month, his $1,250 goal was to get a freaking expensive ass microphone and like sound equipment. Now he wants $1,250 to play some games. It gets even more interesting when you read it. My Indie Games mini marathon back in March was a blast. If we hit this level of funding goal, I will again schedule a day in late May, which will be exclusively for indie games in the marathon style stream setting. In addition, patrons who pledge $5 or more, they'll be able to choose blah, 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 blah. Will we continue the gruesome gameplay of Hotline Miami, the fields, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he claims he enjoyed the indie stream. So you liked doing it, but now you want $250 more to do it again.
Which goes back to another problem that you see in our current timeline, if you will, with Phil saying, oh, I'm playing this game, I'm enjoying the game, but contributions are low, or viewership is low. Who gives a shit whether you like the game or not? If people are not entertained, it doesn't matter how much you like a game or don't like a game. And Phil, for whatever reason, doesn't understand that DSP cannot get it through his strangely shaped skull, right? That just because you enjoy a game doesn't mean shit to the people who are watching you play that game and don't derive any entertainment from it. And he just doesn't understand it. For some reason, that does not compute. And so he gets mad about it. Like, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. You guys are supposed to be here to watch me play games and have fun, but they're not having fun because they're not being entertained. And he doesn't get it. That shit is like Greek to him.
I mean, to be honest, I'm surprised Minecraft isn't the first goal, and that was $750. And the Persona 4 goal was $1,000, and Best of the Classics was $1,200, and the Indie Marathon was $1,500. I'm actually surprised he didn't do that. But let's continue. Stretch goal, $2,000 a month. New 1080p professional camera. Then he pretty much does the same thing he did with last month's stretch goal, which was $1,250, basically saying, oh, I don't think I'm going to get it. Pretty much kind of trying to make people feel bad for him and give some money by saying, I don't think I'm going to do it. You know, it's that old thing. Oh, I'm going to put myself a little down so you can try to make me feel better and maybe give me some money. But I'm not going to read all of this. This is nonsense. But he wants $2,000 to buy a 1080p camera. Is he filming Real World Road Rules Challenge? $2,000. $2,000 for a fucking camera. Is he gonna buy a new mic to go with the camera? Or is he gonna film Project 7 or some other edited type, comedy type thingy holding a microphone in his hand? But yeah, $2,000. $2,000. I was speechless when I saw this. That this dude is asking for $2,000 fucking dollars for a camera. But it gets even more interesting. Let's read this. For someone that records and live streams every day for a living, you would think I possess the most top of the line equipment. Nope. In fact, for videos such as my reviews and vlog series, I'm either using a relatively low quality webcam or my old, as in 5 years old, digital camera that only records in 1080i. Remember, he used the term digital camera for this 1080i bullshit. And sorry DSP, but even fucking Pied Pewds, I'm sure he doesn't even have a $2,000 camera. But no, it gets better because he's not going to spend all $2,000 on the camera. If this goal is hit, I will use half of that month's funding, approximately $1,000, to purchase a new full 1080p camera / camcorder. Camcorder. Is this 1987? That looks great and is capable of doing high quality filming shots, such as to be used with a green screen. This will be implemented in vlogs, game reviews, first impressions, thought series, as well as new series such as Project 7 Reboot and more. Okay.
Now, remember, Project 7 Reboot. That implies that it was going to be a series. I think I've gone over this video. If not, I will. I've gone over all that. I know I've certainly debunked it, as well as others. But that implies that it was going to be a series. Not what he tries to say now, that, oh, it was just going to be a trailer and that's it, which is fucking ridiculous. On top of that, if you listen to the wording of that very, very closely, he wants $2,000 for a camera. But he's only going to use up to, if not only $1,000 to actually get that camera. He didn't even need $1,000. If you go back and you look at what kind of cameras were available back in that time, he could have gotten a new camera that does everything that he wants to do at a nice quality for less than $1,000. For not even half of that. So we're talking $400 or $500, and he knows that. So he was gonna pocket basically let's say he was gonna pocket $1,500 and still get the camera he wants. And that's what's going to be the ongoing scheme with Patreon. And that's really the reason why people shit on him and shit on his Patreon. Because every step he took, he was trying to screw people out of something. And he was trying to get, at every little step he made with that, he was trying to screw them over. Amazing.
His vlogs blogs are him sitting on the sofa talking in front of a camera. His game reviews are him sitting on the sofa talking in front of a camera. His first impression / thought series are him sitting on the sofa talking in front of the camera. And Project 7 is not going to need a $1,000 camera. Now, of course, plenty of people message him. I honestly would have, but at this point, DSP has me blocked from his life. Like, he barely ever responds to YouTube comments. And he pretty much blocks everybody and mutes everybody on Twitter that ever says something he remotely doesn't like. And I've tried to help DSP out plenty of times in YouTube comments and on Twitter. I've actually said things to him. I actually had a somewhat conversation with him in YouTube comments, and I actually appreciated that he was replying. But that was pretty much the last time I ever heard from him, because in his world, I'm a hater. Because this video was a hater video, obviously, right? Anyway.
Which is, isn't it ironic that one of the people who went out of his way to try to help DSP, to make his content better, who actually, at least to some degree, enjoyed Phil's content, so he wanted to help him make that shit better, turns out to be the guy, right? Turns out to be the guy who could literally at a whim, if he chose to, bring DSP down. So you see how I'm taking Tevin's favorite Shawn Michaels meme quote and actually presenting the counter, its reality counterpart, if you will. That's fucking amazing. That is absolutely amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tevin just wanted to have his opinion on DSP, and that was it. He wasn't trying to be malicious. He wasn't trying to do any of these things. Phil shitted on him at every turn, probably even tried to use him, probably tried to. Couldn't do that because Tevin's his own man, and then discarded him and ignored him and this, that, and the third. And now we have the meme that it's Tevin's fault going into year 2. It's Phil made his own enemy. His worst enemy. Phil literally cultivated and nourished and in a lot of ways incubated his own worst enemy. That's amazing. That's amazing that it's not the fact that Phil has an army of haters and shit that are on his every word. But a lot of these people, not just Tevin, but a lot of these people, Phil helped develop. He helped nurture them into the positions that they're in now. And now he running around here crying about illegal streams and then all that money is my money and all that viewership is my viewership, snort, and this is bullshit and this, that, and the third. But it's his fault. It's his fault that all of this exists. And every day he has to live with that. And that's one of the reasons, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put that out here now because I've been meaning to say it for a while. That is the reason why Phil drinks the way he does. Because he knows it. He knows that if he wasn't an asshole all those years ago, or maybe just didn't address none of it, this wouldn't exist the way it does. But he was caught up in his feelings. He can sit there and try to hide behind his depression or whatever other pathetic little term he wants to use. Not to say that depression is pathetic, but Phil using depression as his crutch is kind of pathetic. Whatever the case may be, means nothing at the end of the day. And he's going to have to live with this. The impact that detractors, trolls, haters, and critics have online completely and totally outweighs anything Phil has done out online, whether from a quantity or quality standpoint. And Phil knows it. He knows he can't beat it. He knows it. And he has to live with that. Hurtful. Truly hurtful.
$1,000. He wants $2,000. Now, let's think about this. Last month he got $1,250, and he spent half of that on sound equipment. He explicitly told people, "I'm going to spend half of this on sound equipment." So he got about $600 or so dollars from Patreon last month. This month his stretch goal is $2,000, and he's going to spend $1,000 of that on the camera, which would give him $1,000 this month. Now, if he doesn't reach that goal, let's look at this again. If he doesn't reach that goal of $2,000, he will be getting literally $1,250 free this month because he's not buying anything. He's not doing anything that would take money out of his pocket because he monetizes the stuff he does anyway. It's not like he's gonna get $1,000 to do Persona 4. Well, not 1,000. It's not like he's gonna get 750,000. 750,000. I can't talk. It's not like he's gonna get $750 to do Persona 4, and he's gonna not put ads on the videos. I mean, he could at least do that, not put ads on those specific videos. He has the power to do that, even though he says he doesn't. It's not like he's gonna make this Heavy Rain montage and not put ads on it. You know, he's getting double money, even though he gets pissed off at people for wanting double money, but only when it's inconvenient to him. That's a different point. But yeah, $1,000. Now, I'm not Also, let's check out some tweets. Another night, more nonsense. We're gonna read this one first. This is from DSP, of course. He's always saying stuff on Twitter when he should just like go to sleep and not say stuff on Twitter. And
dude, there's so much Tangeray to be had. There's so much wrestling to watch. There's so many hateful and depressing tweets and text messages to send out. Who has time to go to bed? Who has time to go to bed?
Computer overheated. Son of a bitch. We don't have much left to cover, thank God. But this is, of course, his Twitter. And yeah. Another night, more nonsense from internet know-it-alls. No, comma, good. I guess I mean like, no. Good HD cameras don't cost $300. I have one in this blurry shit. All right, remember when I told you to remember the word digital camera? Now, I don't know if he meant digital camera like a little square piece of shit that looked like a cell phone, or if he meant like SLR, I believe. I used to know a lot about cameras. Yeah, DSLR, digital, whatever the fuck SLR mean. But no good HD cameras cost $300. He has one in this blurry shit. He got it 5 years ago, and I'm sure it's, like I said, a little square piece of shit that look like a cell phone. You can get a really good camera for $300. You can get a really good camera for $200. But you can't get a fucking square little piece of shit camera and expect it to do something magical. Also, this is the same dude that did a video with white balance turned off, and then white balance got turned on by accident, and it looked good. He doesn't even know how to work white balance, but he wants to buy a $1,000 camera. So he's going to buy a $1,000 camera that he doesn't know how to work. All right. The proof is in the pudding.
But it's not just that, though. It feeds back into the narrative that Phil thinks, oh, if I pay all this money, it has to be good, and I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, he would rather spend $1,000 on a camera, believing that because it's $1,000, it must be able to do everything. And he doesn't have to worry about settings. He doesn't have to worry about color balancing. He doesn't have to worry about lighting. It's supposed to do all of those things because it costs $1,000. He would rather throw money at a problem instead of buying something that's within his range, actually reading the instructions, going online, and finding out the tricks of the trade. People have proven this with tech channels all the time. And the fact that you could go ahead and compare for example, a $300 camera to like a $1,200 camera, for example, and is that $300 camera going to do everything that $1,200 camera does? No. No, not at all. But it's pretty damn close. You have to do some workarounds a little bit. You're going to have to put a little bit of effort, a little bit of elbow grease in. But if that's within your price range, then so be it. This $1,000 camera is obviously not in Phil's price range. That's why he has to beg for the money to get it. But once he gets it, he won't even utilize it to its fullest capabilities. He'll use it at its standard until he burns the damn thing out. And that's his problem. And that's one of the reasons why his equipment is so bad. Or it doesn't last very long. Because one, you don't take care of it, and two, he could take some of that strain off by either handling it in post or trying different settings. And when he edits it in post, but he doesn't really edit, or to actually mess around with the settings, but he won't do that either.
Still shot of one of his most recent videos uploaded on April 12th. One of his weekend preview videos. I got it set to 1080p 60 frames. For God, I have no fucking idea why he uploading these at 60 frames, because the source material isn't at 60 frames. It's like he got it automatically set to upload everything at 60 frames, which is really dumb, because a lot of people internet can't handle 60 frames, even if the video isn't really in 60 frames. But anyway, let's look at this. This isn't blurry. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look amazing. It's not brilliant, but it's not terrible. He needs better lighting. He needs to learn how to work his camera better, and he needs to learn how to edit stuff in post. If he knew how to do all three of those things, he can make this look like he has $1,000 camera. But of course, Darkside Phil doesn't edit anything, and he
Oh, that's the video when he talks about that he has gout. I take snippets of that, but we can preview April 12th. Stupid foot, yeah, that's when he announces he has gout. Oh boy. Oh, well, you guys know what I'm about to do right now. I'm about to go ahead and get that bitch.
He doesn't do anything good for his business unless you donate money to him. Because let's be completely honest, this dude could have bought sound equipment, and this dude could have bought a new camera 3 or 4 years ago, and he didn't. He kept doing it the cheapo way and raking in all the easy money, and now he not raking in the easy money, so now he got to get people to donate money to him and take some money off the top and make his stuff better, even though he should have made it better on his own years ago.
He didn't believe in what but see, he didn't want to invest in it. He wanted other people to invest in him. He doesn't. It's really weird. Phil doesn't believe in investing in himself. He believes other people should do it. Oh, you like my content? You should be giving me money to make it better because you enjoy the content, right? I shouldn't have to go ahead and invest that money to do so. I shouldn't have to learn how to do this, that, and the third, whether it's playing games or figuring out computer settings or whatever the case, or figuring out camera settings. You guys should do that. You guys like me. You guys like what I do. So you guys should invest in me. Now, it doesn't just mean money, but it also means time. It means research. It means all of those things. That's what separates Phil in a lot of ways from a lot of lol cows, is that it's insanity that he really believes people should be invested and committed to him in such a way. People who he doesn't even like. People who, if he didn't have to, he wouldn't even talk to. You know what I mean? He won't even game with some of these people. He won't even bring these people on stream no more because he's so scared of them. Or he's so scared that they will gain popularity off of him. He doesn't want to give anybody anything, but he wants everybody to give him everything. Absolutely amazing.
You can watch any of his videos under his King of Hate Vlogs channel to judge if he really needs $1,000 camera. I would be happy as fuck if I had the camera he had. It's like I said, it's not amazing, but it's better than what I got. And if he knew how to work settings, and if he knew how to edit stuff in post, and if he knew how lighting worked, he would have way better videos. But no, he just decides he wants to throw money at it, because that's how you do stuff. You throw money at it. Anyway, of course we have some screen caps because it's a mess keeping up with this dude Twitter. But shout out to Dragon Killer. Follow him at that username. This is a mess. So we got nonsense from Internet Know-It-Alls. The point of Patreon is to majorly improve my business, not buy low/mid-grade equipment. That's a waste of patrons' money. He bought low/mid-grade equipment 3 or 4 years ago, and he's still using it. When he was making a ton of money off YouTube, he was too busy buying statues and bullshit that he's actually trying to sell now. I mean, he could have.
Now, keep in mind, this is 2015. In 2019, this year, he was trying to peddle those same statues. I think in 2017, he was trying to peddle those statues. So for the the last like 4 years, he's been trying to get rid of these goddamn statues that he ain't tossed all that money at. You know what I'm saying? Because he was in a drunken stupor and he didn't like himself and he was all in his feelings. And he does kind of like what Amber Lynn does, where when she's depressed and she's eating, she'll go online and buy a bunch of stuff too to make herself feel better, only to get those things that when those things finally show up, she realizes, I can't really fit in some of these, or they don't fit as well as she wants them to. You know what I'm saying? In the moment, she had the money, so she spent it. She felt good about spending it until it gets there. And then come to find out, it just made her even more, it makes her even more depressed. You know what I'm saying? And it's a self-hating type of cycle. She didn't need to spend the money. She did it because she had it. She did it because she wanted to flex. But then you bought something that you can't even really use. So, crazy shit like that.
Ben bought this stuff and he wouldn't need to get donations to buy it. But I guess it's an excuse for people to donate money to him too. In March, I was told $500 for better sound equipment was too much, yet I spent over $600 and got good stuff, which is already helping. It's not already helping. And because you spent $600, that doesn't mean it's better. You can get good sound equipment stuff for $200 or $300. You just got to know how to do stuff. You can't throw money at something like sound equipment or like video equipment and expect it to be better than other people because you threw a bunch of money at it. That's not how that works. With my stretch Patreon goal, I plan on getting a camera with a big lens that films great and is future proof for a few years. That's the point. A big lens. What the fuck is he talking about? I just want to say that. What the fuck is he talking about? Let's look at some camera listings. Do you see big lenses under any of these DSLRs? They all have the same size lens. Does he mean a camera with a good zoom? Because a dude sitting on the sofa filming videos doesn't need a camera with a good zoom. He needs a standard, 18 to 55 millimeter zoom lens. Anything more than that is going to be kind of silly because he will have to sit on the opposite side of the room to get the freaking picture he want to get. Also, something else to point out,
which is probably what he wanted, but let's look at something that's a little bit more underlined that's not being pointed out just yet, is the fact that Phil is looking at what the Respect the Pack had, like some of their cameras, and then possibly some of the cameras or one of the cameras that John uses for his series, Snozman and Hole Punch. And which, keep in mind, they're out in the elements. They're going for certain types of shots. They're going for certain type of cinematics. He's looking at all that and being like, I want that too. If they can have that, why can't I have that? So when we're talking about a camera with a large lens, that's what he's shooting for. He's shooting for what other people have, what other people are using, and he feels that he's deserving of that as well.
Guarantee you this dude is not going to know that he can hook a DSLR up to his computer and use it when he live streams. Guarantee you he won't know that. Someone is going to tell him that on Twitter. Anyway, let me exit this out. It's more. Of course it's more. Somebody tweeted to him. I'm sure they muted by now. He probably muted him or blocked him right after he replied. A $1,000 camera, though, not a realistic option for a business such as yours. You can easily get one that suits your needs for half. Exactly. He said, I own a 1080p camera that sucks, which is a lie. He said he owns a 1080i camera. Now it's 1080p. He doesn't even know what he has. Cameras need big lenses and great focus to get good visuals. That's what I'm looking for. What the fuck is the big lens is he talking about? I'm completely lost on that. I used to own a few DSLRs. Am I getting that wrong again? No, it is DSLR. I don't know why I think it's something else. But I used to own a few of those, and all of the lenses were the same. And focus, I mean, you won't get any kind of focus out of a little square cell phone looking camera, which is I'm sure that's what he has. I don't know, but I assume that's what he has. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a real professional camera. Anyway, he said it's 1080i. Now he's tweeting somebody saying it's 1080p, but he needs a big lens and great focus. He really sounds like he knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? But yeah, $850 to do a montage. Did he raise the price? He did. Holy shit, he literally raised the price in the same day. Okay, never mind. This is the original montage price. So it was $850 instead of $800. Yeah, I actually wanted to show this screen cap earlier. My apologies for that. But this is his original montage price, $850 a month. But I love it. I just want to say I love it how it's $850 a month. He didn't even do it yet. And for the next month, it's $1,000 a month. Because you raise your prices gradually when you want to finesse people that are donating money to you. Great 1080p cameras actually cost in excess of $1,000. Okay, I'm looking for something to improve my quality in a big way. He's acting like he's a vlogger. Like this dude does maybe 5 real videos a month. You know, I can understand if all of his Let's Plays or playthroughs, if you want to call them that, I can understand if all of them were filmed with a face cam, then maybe you would want to upgrade it, but still it kind of doesn't matter because your face isn't going to take up the whole screen. So your face cam being 1080p isn't going to make a huge difference. Like you can have a 720p camera, you know, your face is going to be taking up maybe 15% of the screen. So you don't need that quality for that anyway, if that's what he was going for. But he wants $1,000 camera to do what, 5 videos a month? 5 videos a month that are just like this person said, him sitting on the couch talking about random shit, which is what it is. But he needs $1,000 camera to do that. And apparently great 1080p cameras actually cost in excess of $1,000. Yeah, if you're filming a TV show. Could you explain the 2K goal? Why you want $1,000 for a new 1080p camera when most of those are $300 or less? His response: spending $300 for a spending $300 for a crappy camera is a waste of $300. It needs a big / great lens and good focus features, maybe 60 frames per second, etc. Really? Does he think his life is a video game? Cameras can record, you know.
Why wouldn't it be? He's playing that poorly too. Does he think his life is a video game? Yeah, I think he kind of does. I think he thinks Phil thinks his life is like a soap opera, a sitcom, an anime, if you will, or a manga. That's where the meme kind of comes from. It's broken up like that. It's all kinds of melodrama, a little bit of action, a whole lot of unnecessarily dialogue and filler. Yeah, I think he thinks that it's a video game to some extent, and he's playing it poorly. You know what I mean? Life imitates art, if you will. Life imitates art, if you will.
People in real life at 60 frames per second, but quite honestly, it's fucking useless. No TV shows and no movies are at 60 frames a second. And I don't look on YouTube a lot, but I've never seen a real person video on YouTube, like whether it's a music video or a vlog or whatever, recorded at 60 frames per second. It's fucking stupid. But that's completely my opinion. But 60 frames per second, 1080p visuals. So 1080-60. You know, the same resolution and the same frame rate that fucking destroys your internet. And the same frame rate and resolution that don't work on half the things YouTube work for. You know, I watch most YouTube videos on my PS4, and that's not giving me 1080-60. It's only giving me 30 frames. I don't even think any phone can do YouTube videos at 60 frames. I think 60 frame video watching is literally only on computer. So he wants to get a 60 frames per second camera to record shit of him sitting on a sofa talking. First of all, I can understand if this dude was like videoing like cars racing or some shit, but it's him sitting on his sofa waving his arms around talking. That doesn't need to get recorded at 60 frames. It honestly doesn't even need to be recorded at 1080p. It's nothing to see. I mean, wanting 1080p resolution is fine, but 60 frames per second video, really, of you sitting on the sofa doing nothing but talking. Sounds legit. Like I said, just finessing people and saying whatever he has to say to get the little donations he want. All this equipment and he doesn't polish his commentary is like being handed a shiny turd. Looks great, but it's still shit, of course. 60 frames for what? Your face? That's exactly what I said. Silly. So silly. What the hell is stop recording? Son of a bitch. But if you care, you can Google it. But tried and true, Nikon D5100. Quite literally one of the best cameras you can use for under $500 if you buy used or if you get one of the shitty bundles on Amazon. I don't really trust the bundles on Amazon, but let's look at this. Nikon D5100 camera, 18 to 55 millimeter zoom, autofocus, 32 gig memory card, come with a bag, tripod, all kind of other stuff this dude would never use. This is what he needs. This is literally what he needs. This is the most simple high-end camera I've ever used. That's just my advice. Of course, he never takes advice, but full 1080p video, 16.2 megapixels. This is not the pixel count you can get. I won't lie about that. But like I said, the dude is recording videos of him sitting on the sofa talking. I can understand if he was out in the Amazon filming nature or like doing something creative and cool, but he's filming up talking on the sofa. I can understand even if he did videos and like he needed to zoom in on stuff and show. So that's like made for filming lions running in a jungle or some shit. Himself sitting on the sofa talking. Or to do Project 7 that probably will never happen. It'll happen, but it's gonna take him forever to do it.
It never happened. It never happened.
And it's gonna monetize it anyway, and it won't get any views. That's just how I feel about it. Who knows? He might bounce back off it. Anyway, this dude is like that costs about $500. If he wants to be fancy, he can get one of the $600 or $700 ones. He can even get a Canon if he wants to be a Canon guy. But he doesn't need a. You just got to know how to work settings, and you got to know how to edit, and you got to know how to up image quality in post, and you got to know how to use lighting. He doesn't know how to do any of these things, so he's gonna buy the most expensive camera he can get, and just people are gonna be posting comments in YouTube saying it doesn't look different. DSP gaming, people. Donate to us because he's obviously a professional videographer. Yeah. Sorry, but it's not a good idea to give a professional camera to someone that doesn't even know how to work white balance. And he won't know what the fuck to do with it. The world we live in. Making that hot double money. I hope you enjoyed, DSP. Hope you enjoyed.
Get the fuck off my dick. If I'm gonna use Patreon, I'll use it. And I don't care if anyone likes it or not. Get the fuck off my dick. If I'm gonna use Patreon, I'll use it. And I don't care if anyone likes it or not. Get the fuck off my dick. If I'm gonna use Patreon, I'll use it. And I don't care if anyone likes it or not. Get the fuck off my dick. If I'm gonna use Patreon, I'll use it. And I don't care if anyone likes it.
Hurtful. It's truly hurtful. Oh shit, that was fucking hilarious. Alright, so go ahead and cut that. Okay, so sorry about the jumping there at the end. I think that was me, so my fault on that. I'll see if that can get cleaned up. If not, like I said, my apologies in advance. Alright, so that is essentially the beginning of the shenanigans to some degree. You're kind of seeing what he's trying to put out there, and in only a few months. He started in February. This video took place in April. Okay, you already saw how he was getting over on shenanigans. He could have just come out and just asked for the money, but he didn't. And you got to understand though too, and you're gonna see it as the series progresses, that when certain goals weren't hit, he just pocketed the cash. And he would reset. He would just restart the goal for the following month. When I started doing videos on him, he was embroiled in a lot of ways in a situation where they didn't hit the goal. So he went ahead and moved on to another goal for the next month, and then the month after that he tried to reboot that original goal from a month and a half from the month before all over again. So these are just some of the nonsense type situations you're seeing. And he had the nerve to say, oh, if we don't hit the goal, I can't do the goal. I got to stick to my guns. Shit like that. Some of you guys remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. But I just wanted to give you guys an example of some of the bullshit that he's pulled off before and how it's not new. It's far from new, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that has gone on for a very, very long time, and it'll continue to persist. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming to the Patreon Pocket Watch or Pocket Check. Thank you very much for coming in and checking out the video. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you guys for the next one, for part 2, I guess. Like I said, there'll probably be 10 to 12 of these. And then, like I said, I'll get back to my regular stuff. Then we'll finish up the requests, and then I'll start a whole nother video that will bring in a bunch of where I'll request you. If you guys have any new requests, you can put it there, because it gets a little bit. I guess it's slightly difficult if people put requests under like this video, for example, and then I'll write it down or I'll log it somewhere, and then stuff gets misappropriated for all kinds of reasons, or it gets misplaced, and I really don't like doing that, because I appreciate the time you take to make a recommendation. So that's a thing. But like I said, hopefully you guys are going to enjoy the series moving forward. I hope in actuality you'll take a lot from this, because there is a lot to pull from this bullshit and from Phil's nonsense, and I hope you guys find it somewhat entertaining, but certainly rather informative to some degree, and you guys can go out and check it all out. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave the link to the original video in the description, as well as some of the people that I shouted out early on in this video. And enjoy your day, and I'll see you guys for the next one, whenever that may happen, hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News 2nd Edition, and I'll see you guys for the next one. Later.